Today is Saturday, May 19th, 2018. Hello, and welcome to Weekly Astrology Notes for the week of May 20th through the 27th, 2018. Highlights for this week. Well, it's a transcendental week, time of great healing, because we've got Jupiter trine Neptune on Friday the 25th, and we will be feeling it all week long. It's a wonderful aspect, a real soulful trine in water signs, time to heal psychological wounds and reclaim lost elements of yourself. We feel like letting go this week. As we approach this aspect on Friday, you may feel very open and forgiving, but kind of low on energy and desire more rest and recuperation. It's a good idea to get good rest this week so your body can regenerate. Lots of psychological issues are coming up now, and we're all in the mood to just let them go once and for all. So if you can find an opportunity, you might even want to immerse yourself in water, spend time in nature, or go to the beach, and it should really help with the energy of this aspect. So day by day, on Sunday the 20th, that moon in Leo makes it a good day for recreation, and the sun enters Gemini. On Monday, we've got the first of a couple of really long moon void of courses. So the void of course is actually going to start on Sunday evening, and it's going to last all the way until Monday evening. So all day Monday basically is going to be void of course, and therefore not a day to start new projects, more of a day of reflection and meditation. On Tuesday, we've got a big day for Mercury. Mercury sextile Neptune and Mercury opposition Jupiter. Mercury is in a real sweet spot this week. Very expansive energies at work on the conscious mind. Able to see the other side better than most days. A time for opening your mind to new ideas. The non-material world, the spirit world as well. Things that you did not see in the past. Again, it helps to resolve things. In this case, through awareness. That Mercury opposition Jupiter is going to really bring us a lot of awareness and help us see our way through things rather than conflict. Lots of exchange of ideas and information, very enlightening. Could you open you up to some new wonderful concepts and perspectives about life. And then on Wednesday in the morning, we've got Moon in Virgo. It's going to form a grand trine in Earth with Mercury and Pluto. Means we're attending to material concerns on Wednesday. But then we've got another long void of course. It starts in the morning and it lasts until midnight. So that'll be the second one this week, Monday and Wednesday. And also on Wednesday, we're going to have Sun trine Mars. Lots of aspects this week, I should say. And this one's going to be very positive and energetic and enlivens you. It's in air signs, mentally stimulating. Exerting yourself heals the mind. Helps overcome limiting thought patterns. Just a real big healing week for transcending things. Okay, so on Thursday, Moon in Libra forms a grand trine with the Sun and Mars, making it a very creative morning on Thursday. But the energy slows down in the afternoon. But by this point, the Jupiter trine Neptune is in full strength, and we're all getting more enlightened. The transcendental experiences are available for those who seek them out. And then on Friday, it's an incredible day. In addition to this Jupiter trine Neptune, we've also got Mercury trine Pluto to give us strong, fixed mental focus in the morning. And then late in the day, Venus opposition Saturn kind of turns us inside out on Friday night. Makes us very reflective, more in need of therapy, not really a good time for relationships. The powerful combination of planetary influences on Friday is going to make it a very different day from most. And the moon goes void of course Friday afternoon and continues until Saturday morning. So that's kind of a third long void of course we've got this week. And then also on the coming weekend, on Saturday, we've got moon entering Scorpio in the morning, and it's pretty active throughout the whole weekend, making it a time to regenerate and to avoid getting caught up in other people's drama. So it's a real healing week, a time for transcending your limitations, expanding your consciousness, healing psychological wounds, and reclaiming lost elements of yourself. Should be really exciting. And at the end of the video, transits for the USA, Robert Mueller, Nancy Pelosi, and Germany. They're all having big transits this week. Okay, so let's get started with Sunday the 20th. Just after midnight, Moon square Mercury. Subconscious issues intrude on normal communication. And then in the evening, Sun enters Gemini. So the Gemini month begins as our creative energy is focused more on communication, speaking and writing, and short distance travel for the next month. Looking for things to stimulate the mind and use your hands in a creative way. Great for writing and playing music. In the evening, we've got a Moon square Jupiter. So very social, prone to excessive or extravagant behavior. Give us a big appetite on Sunday evening, but poor judgment. And then a long void, of course, begins. And that's going to continue all the way through Monday evening. So on Monday the 21st, it's really not a day to start new projects. So we'll start. Moon enters Virgo. That'll be in the evening. More detail-oriented, discriminating, in need of cleansing and purifying for the next couple of days. Good time to catch up on your health regime. Virgo is also very helpful towards others. And then also on Monday evening, Moon trine Uranus. Skillful use of personal resources. That's the trine from Virgo to Taurus. Brings good judgment along with the usual ambition from Uranus. And then also on Monday evening, we've got the first quarter moon. Moon square Sun. The usual struggle for fulfillment. Lots of details about many things. That's the square from Virgo to Gemini. I should say, not Mercury there. And that brings a lot of information, but not all of it is useful. So you need to be more discerning, more discriminating in your quest to establish a foundation for this month's plans. Moving along now to Tuesday, May the 22nd. We start just after midnight with the Moon sextile Venus. Emotions in harmony. Cancer rules the stomach and Virgo rules the digestive process. So this one is a good time for digestion. Eating healthy foods makes a bigger difference now for your body. And Moon trine Saturn on Tuesday morning. We are attending to duty and responsibility. It's a bit of a transcendental evening on Tuesday. Mercury adds its energy to the Jupiter trine Neptune aspect coming up. So we're going to have Mercury sextile Neptune. And that will be 16 degrees of Taurus to 16 degrees of Pisces. So thoughts tend to drift towards non-material concerns. Able to tune into subtle vibrations around you. Think on different levels. Content, easygoing, low energy, not confrontational. Creative and idealistic. Not interested in the details though. A bit lazy. It's a good time for poetry, art, and music. Singing and using your hands creatively opens the pathways to your direct divine connection. Nice time for a massage or energy healing like Reiki. Playing with crystals and healing stones is really good too. The sensual energy of Taurus really mixes well with that non-material aspect of Pisces to give you a really good fun time with crystals and healing stones. Also more in tune with nature spirits. So it's a good time to be out in nature. Good time to delve into mystery and fantasy and let your imagination wander. And then also on Tuesday evening, Mercury opposition Jupiter. And that'll be 16 degrees of Taurus to 16 degrees of Scorpio. And this one's very mentally expansive, as you can imagine, you know, because Mercury is the conscious mind and Jupiter expands whatever it touches. So we really need to communicate and share thoughts with others, thoughts and opinions, and to be a sounding board for other people to share their ideas. It's easier to connect the dots and see the big picture. We're idealistic and optimistic. It's a good time for planning, communicating with authority figures. Lots of discussion about money and values, and that's the Taurus to Scorpio axis. Mercury in Taurus can be very persuasive, and this aspect really brings that out. Lots of compelling discussion, folks trying to convince one another of their ideas. It's excellent for public speaking. The voice projects, gets louder, a bit more confrontational, but not really in an aggressive way, more just wanting to share opinions and ideas, along with a strong appetite for new information. We're more in touch with cosmic forces, just like the previous aspect. So we may have psychic or visionary experiences, especially coming from Scorpio like that. That's what makes it very transcendental. It kind of gives even more of that quality to the week, coming from, of course, mainly the Jupiter trine Neptune. So much expansion that something probably is revealed today. Uranus, which has just entered Taurus, rules new technology and innovation, and we're looking to see how this manifests, looking for revelations about new technologies, possibly even about major Earth changes and things that are going on, tectonic shifts, because, you know, you got that Pluto energy, or excuse me, that Scorpio energy coming in and really giving us a strong burst of energy. Something very deep within us stirs, and really within the earth. It's a very expansive evening. Good time for meditation and healing and all kinds of stuff like that. Okay, also in the evening on Tuesday, we got a couple of moon aspects. We got the moon opposition Neptune. So the shy moon in Virgo is easily deceived, prone to wishful thinking, but yet also very expansive on the consciousness, as well as the next one, the moon sextile Jupiter. All this on Tuesday night. Really nice. This one brings pleasant attitudes. It's also very sensual. Okay, well, that's exciting. Moving along to Wednesday, the 23rd. Once again, just like Monday, we've got a long void of course. Lasts from morning until midnight. So we'll start just after midnight with the moon trine Mercury, more sensual earth energy as the moon moves into a grand trine with Mercury and Pluto. So this is really great. We've got Mercury trine Pluto coming up on Friday, and the moon moves into that grand trine position on Wednesday morning. So we got this grand trine in Earth, giving us a strong emotional force, wanting to do something very creative and physical. Okay? As well, the trine to Pluto brings some disruptions, but I would think a lot of opportunities for success with this grand trine going on in the morning. And then in the evening, we've got Sun trine Mars. Okay, that's going to be 2 degrees of Gemini to 2 degrees of Aquarius, air signs. Lots of confidence. It's going to bring extra energy. Air signs inspires us to write, speak, predict, think idealistically, and on abstract levels. So we have lots of energy for mental activity today. Able to communicate with more confidence. Very inquisitive. A good day for learning something new, going on a short journey, spending time with friends and associates. The Mars in Aquarius has a really sharp mind, and this really brings it out. We're very ambitious, able to transcend your usual limitations and go with the flow to find new opportunities. You may feel like starting a new project, but be sure to work around that long void of course moon. Okay, and lastly on Wednesday, the moon enters Libra just before midnight. So we're more congenial and in need of partnership for the next couple days. Good time for entertaining and romance. Emotions are balanced, and we tend to socialize more when the moon is in Libra. Okay, moving along to Thursday, May the 24th. Moon is part of yet another grand trine. this morning, this time in air signs. That Sun trine Mars from yesterday evening. Now the moon comes in. You'll see here the moon in Libra. It's going to trine Mars and then the Sun. Very nice. Physical activity is going to be really good for the mind this morning. Even more so with the Sun. Creative activity is a must to nourish the mind. So you want to take advantage of those. Really able to, it gives you a lot of confidence when this kind of thing happens. You get a grand trine with the Sun and Mars and the Moon. And in air signs, a lot of mental confidence too. So that's something to really look forward to, take note of. And then late in the evening, later in the morning, Moon square Venus. So it's a little bit challenging in this sign because, of course, Venus rules Libra and the Moon rules Cancer. They're squaring one another. So overly sensitive. Try not to take it personally. It's really not a good time for social events in the late morning on Thursday. And then in the mid-afternoon, we've got the Moon square Saturn. Fears arise, worried about security and survival, issues from the past, secrets are revealed. Sometimes life is a bit hard. But it goes quickly, and I don't think it's going to be much this time because we're moving so close now to that Jupiter trine Neptune happening on Friday the 25th, along with two other planetary aspects. As well, we've got yet another long void of course happening on Friday. Just lots of stuff happening. So let's start with the Jupiter trine Neptune. It'll be 16 degrees 20 minutes of Scorpio to 16 degrees 20 minutes of Pisces. And you'll see Venus is close enough to be part of a grand trine with these as well. So that forms a grand trine in water signs, and that's the soulful trine. That's really wonderful. Okay, so check your chart to see where this is happening for you. This aspect stimulates the idealistic side in us. Abundance of compassion and tenderness for everyone brings out the humanitarian in us. You may feel lazy and more interested in exploring the subtle vibrations around you rather than working, looking for a collective or spiritual experience. A desire to express love, art, music, poetry, show kindness and compassion, alternative healing, and explore cosmic awareness. Now, that's a lot of different things, but it's a mixture of all these signs and these planets all coming together in creative harmony. The Neptune energy really brings in the art and the music and the poetry, and as well as the kindness and compassion. And Scorpio really brings in that alternative healing energy, and Jupiter brings in that cosmic awareness. All put together, it's this big expansion of consciousness. Jupiter is associated with higher cosmic forces, and Neptune has no boundaries and no judgment. So we feel free to move beyond our current mental boundaries and give ourselves permission to explore. Show compassion to the disadvantaged as well. It's got a lot of social elements to it. It guides us to see the interconnectedness of all people and all things and the value that they have. Helps us look past the bad part and see the good side in others, no matter what they've done. Today we may see an abundance of tears, which can be good because, the compassion brings out a lot of that. So don't hold back if you need. It helps us overcome religious divisions by dissolving the boundaries between ideologies. Helps overcome religious dogma and limited viewpoints, which should help us on both an individual and collective level. And I should say that this is pretty much ongoing most of the year. This is kind of a general quality that we've been experiencing this year. And this is just really a high point in that overall experience. So it's a good time to check in and talk about what is really going on with us. On a personal level, there are some issues in your life, big or small, which require you to take a leap of faith. So now is the time to take that leap. That's what this aspect is so good for, taking a leap of faith. Jupiter and Sagittarius, it rules religion. And Pisces, it rules spirituality. So it's all kind of mixed in there. So it's a real great aspect for that. Now is the time to take that leap. Luck is on your side. Now is the time to overcome psychological issues and let go of fear. Some may experience an increased interest in religion and philosophy. Connection with foreigners is favored. A good time to learn and or practice healing, like Reiki. Jupiter and Scorpio needs to explore those alternative healing modalities. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing the day after this, on the 26th. I have another Reiki class. Express externally, become part of some community effort to improve conditions for everyone, especially the disadvantaged. Look to your chart to see where this aspect is manifesting, and if you have any concurrent transits to any of your planets, to see how this energy is activating your chart. Scorpio rules money, so this aspect is coinciding with the ongoing fall of the U.S. petrodollar and the simultaneous emergence of a new system for international trade. So this aspect is facilitating that process. With the concurrent Mercury aspects we're getting today, it should be a busy day on the stock market. And like all big Jupiter-Neptune aspects, it facilitates people coming together in large groups or gatherings. Okay, so that's just an overall really wonderful big aspect we're having this week. It's the highlight of the week. It gives us that transcendental quality. Add to that, also in the morning on Friday, Mercury trine Pluto. So that'll be 20 degrees of Taurus to 20 degrees of Capricorn. Thinking about money and personal values. A strong, focused mind. Keeping thoughts and words to yourself, kind of reserve, because you know the power of your words. Prefer not to speak unless necessary. Clever and courageous, able to break through mental barriers. The dogmatic, stubborn Mercury and Taurus can get even more fixated today and get fixed on one thing to the detriment of everything else. It's great for getting a lot of work done, but it's hard to see the big picture. Makes you too focused. This aspect brings a wonderful gift to the conscious mind if you're open to it. The Pluto energy brings a transcendental awareness of others, their ideas and their values, and we want to adopt the tips and techniques that others have learned so that we see the value in others as well, and we want to improve the way that other people have improved. In the right state of mind, aspect brings opportunities for personal success, a change for the better, as with all trines to Pluto. And in this case, an exchange of values means both sides can prosper. So that's a really good aspect to go along with the Jupiter one. And we've got a moon aspect to consider today, although it shouldn't be too strong. Consider all the other aspects, but we do have a moon square Pluto in the afternoon. Makes us very focused on what needs to be done now, able to rise to the occasion and prove yourself. Once again, secrets are revealed in that square from Libra to Capricorn. And then a void, of course, begins on the early afternoon on Friday, and that's going to continue until early Saturday morning. And we are also getting Venus opposition Saturn late on Friday evening. So that'll be 8 degrees of Cancer to 8 degrees of Capricorn. So on Friday night, life may seem a bit harsh. The simple interpretation is feelings are limited. Time of therapy and going within. So we're not as available for others as usual. It's time to reflect on your emotional life, your home life, and assess what's working for you and what's not working. Time of critical self-evaluation, and you may feel like you're getting turned inside out. Also, you may feel critical of others and not feel giving or warm. And it's an aspect that closes you down and gets you to rethink some things about your life. It's a good time for meditation and soul searching, and of course, as you can imagine, relationships go through a slow time. Not really a good aspect to start a relationship, unless you've got a karmic bond that the two of you need to resolve. So, unhealthy attitudes and lifestyles, they take their toll. And tonight is a night when you pay your dues. If you're really frustrated with others, it's all a message from within that your life is not going the way you want it to. And you've been pulled off center by life circumstances, and you need to recollect yourself. And probably that means taking better care of your health. And that's because it's Venus in Cancer down here. And it all comes down to what you put into your body on a regular basis. And that's really, I think, what we're going to be evaluating here, and how that affects our consciousness and how that affects our feelings. So this is a very healthful transit, or aspect, I should say, and it's time to, reevaluate unhealthy attitudes and lifestyles. This aspect gets you in touch with your true scope of responsibility in life, which can be really helpful. And of course, that is first and foremost to yourself, and that is your responsibility, is to yourself. So you may feel liberated when you reflect and realize that much of what you're worried about is beyond your scope of responsibility, and it's been pulling you in the wrong direction in life. Saturn is limitation, but also in the positive sense as well. Learning the positive value of saying no to things and people that are not good for you in the long run is what ultimately liberates you. So Saturn is ultimately a liberator. And of course, you can imagine it makes you more mature, another quality of Saturn. So Friday night, we're going to be a little bit slower, I should imagine, probably not feel like socializing much. Okay, let's moving along into the weekend. Saturday, the 26th, got Moon in Scorpio. It's going to bring some volatile aspects today. So we start in the morning and ends the void of course from yesterday afternoon. Moon enters Scorpio. So we are more sensitive for the next couple of days. It's time to regenerate, repair, and upkeep in the home. A time of deep, intense emotions, subconscious impulses coming to the surface. Avoid getting caught in other people's drama. It's a good time for gardening. The soil is very moist when the moon is in Scorpio. And I like to plant by the moon, and I noticed that when I put plants in the ground at moon in Scorpio, I tend to dig deeper holes, of course, because Scorpio goes very deep. And I dig deeper holes for the seedlings, and consequently, they take root faster. They merge with the ground better. It's just something I've noticed for those gardeners out there. And also, in the morning on Saturday, we've got the moon opposition Uranus. So this one will have us feeling ambitious with a narrow, fixed focus. That's from Scorpio. Driven to obtain more resources for your current plans in the works. Beware of hard-headed demeanor. Could push away others. You may need independence in order to discover how resourceful you truly are on your own. And then Saturday in the early afternoon, Moon square Mars. Volatile emotions. Paranoid you are being kept in the dark on some important issue. You may feel like stinging someone. Scorpio likes to sting. It's a time of delicate digestion. And then finishing up with Sunday, we've got Moon in Scorpio. It's much more smoother and soulful today. A day to regenerate around the home. We start just after midnight with the always wonderful Moon conjunct Jupiter. It spans the emotions, puts us in a really forgiving mood. And in the early afternoon, Moon trine Neptune. Brings up deep emotions, letting things pass away so you can be reborn. Forgive and let go. And the Moon sextile Pluto. Deep emotional transformation. There may be disruptions, but they are better for the better in the long run. So once again, the Moon in Scorpio is much more soulful on Sunday than on Saturday. So that's all for this week's aspects. Okay, and before going over transits for some major players, I wanted to talk a little bit about this ongoing Mars square Uranus, which is going to be in effect for several months. Currently, Mars is at 3 degrees Aquarius, Uranus at 0 degrees Taurus. This, due to retrograde of both planets, is going to be in effect in a while. And what's happening here is it's putting two very different parts of ourselves together. The ego and the higher mind. The ego, of course, related to Mars, and the higher mind, or the more evolved self, that would be Uranus. And what I have noticed thus far with this aspect is that there is a compulsion to exert energy or force, a lot of Mars energy. And when you do that, it really stimulates the mind. And conversely, mental stimulation really activates your desire to exert force. So mental stimulation and physical force, the two go hand in hand these days, like they're hardwired together. So the positive side is lots more energy and mental stimulation, but the downside is impulsive behavior and a bit prone to accidents. We're in fixed signs, so you feel stubborn and you don't want to do something mentally stimulating unless there is some physical exertion involved. Kind of an interesting manifestation as I see it. It's like you get lazy and you say, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do anything mentally stimulating unless I know that I can move my body along with it. And that actually can be really good if you take advantage of it. But it does make it hard to get going. But once you do, you kind of can't stop until you're finished. We need to take extra care of our bodies during this time. Avoid overexerting ourselves. We might not be as aware of our physical limitations, because anytime we get mentally stimulated, it's like we want to move our bodies. We want to do something very physical. So just wanted to put that out there, give people a little bit of a heads up on that. And please leave me some comments in the comment section. Let me know if you're feeling any of this energy of the Mars square Uranus. I'd like to get some feedback on that. And a little bit of follow-up on California. I've got a couple of more links I'm going to be sharing this week just to give people a good idea of what's going on. Now, there was no major event concurrent with the Uranus return, including that Uranus conjunct Pluto. Nonetheless, there's serious problems with the state, especially with respect to the Fed and immigration and all that. There's all these lawsuits going back and forth. So it looks like the first pass was characterized as establishing the issue and no major event to mark the occasion. Just lots of little ones. But it looks like a rebellion has clearly started, and we can look to the next two passes for more about that. And I think there's going to be more major events, more showdowns that eventually occur. So I'm going to leave a couple of good links to give you a good idea of what's going on. But right now I wanted to get more into the transits for those that are having big transits this week. And that's starting with the USA. Now on the 25th, which is the same day we're going to be getting this Jupiter trine Neptune. You'll see here Scorpio to Pisces. The USA is getting the second pass of that ominous Pluto quincunx Mars. You'll see 2058 Capricorn to 2058 Gemini. And those who've been with me for a while know that this quincunx, I've talked about it a few times, it could bring a serious threat to the country, maybe even a false flag, because those false flag events always seem to coincide with a quincunx that involves Pluto or Scorpio. So the first pass of this transit was in mid-March, and we saw the U.S. taking renewed military action against Syria, acting in a threatening, warlike manner, which in a case actually was a false war going on, so that kind of qualifies as a false flag event. But nonetheless, I see this transit as a threat and a potential conflict once again. And because the concurrent aspects of the Jupiter trine Neptune, it kind of makes for a more significant event on this day. It kind of makes me stand up and take notice all the more. So we're looking to see what happens this week with this Pluto quincunx Mars. And for Robert Mueller, he's the special investigator, the front man for the deep state in their efforts to derail Trump. He's having a really big week. Now, the Jupiter trine Neptune aspect, he's going to be, you'll see this, he's got Mars and Chiron at 16 degrees of Virgo. So he's getting Jupiter sextile Mars and Chiron, and Neptune opposition both of those. So that's quite significant. So maybe he will be part of how the big Jupiter aspect manifests for the rest of us, since he's having these concurrent transits. Now, the Neptune opposition Mars, that's the really big one. That one's going to be the one to watch out for. It brings low energy, and I don't think this Jupiter sextile is enough to offset that. The Neptune one is going to be stronger. So low energy. All of his efforts are stymied. He's confused. Needs to confront things he doesn't see. He's fighting a losing battle. And the Jupiter sextile is nice. It gives him some optimism, but at the same time, it could bring judicial actions, which may not necessarily be good for him. Especially, retrograde in Scorpio. You have to really consider the collective here. So that might not help him out. Neptune soon goes retrograde at 16 degrees 30 minutes. So very close to retrograde. You look at that, 1627. So it basically stops and goes retrograde right on the opposition to his Mars. It's going to be ongoing for a couple of months for him. And you add in the ongoing Saturn opposition Saturn that he's getting, Capricorn to Cancer there. That's giving him lots of doubts, and soon he's going to be getting Chiron opposition Neptune. You see that Chiron, currently at 1 degree Aries, is about to oppose his Neptune at 2 degrees of Libra. Well, that's a real interesting Neptune-Chiron synchronicity. He's getting Neptune opposition Chiron while he's getting Chiron opposition Neptune. These oppositions bring confrontation and painful endings. It's really not looking good for him these days. I don't really see these as winning transits. Tell me what you think in the comments. And lastly, wanted to go over Nancy Pelosi. You'll see here in her natal chart, she's got Saturn at 0 degrees of Taurus, squaring Pluto at 0 degrees of Leo. It really leaves a mark on her personality. It makes her really stubborn and ruthless, willing to do whatever is necessary to achieve her goals. Certainly something that she's very well known for. And now that Uranus has entered Taurus, it activates that square. So this week she gets Uranus conjunct Saturn and Uranus square Pluto. Uranus conjunct Saturn at her age will certainly give her a desire to change her career. And for her, that probably means retirement for more independence and freedom. But the Uranus square Pluto, it's very ambitious, defiant, rebellious. Kind of want to lead the rebellion, as she has been doing, or one of the leaders against Trump. The big issue as I see it, that natal aspect is going to be activated, and all of her ruthless behavior is going to come to the surface. And she's going to be very ambitious and willing to show it. It could be rather upsetting to her internally as well. Bring lots of restlessness and uncertainty. Uranus brings lots of changes. And for someone like her, in her very stubborn and fixed ways, that could be very hard to do. Possibly make her do something rash that would force change upon her. So that's a really good set of transits to watch out for. It's just the first pass, so it's going to be ongoing. But with that tight square and her being a politician in such a prominent position, I think it could be pretty significant. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Germany, because this week they're going to be getting the second pass of Jupiter conjunct Pluto. So this transit is characterized as a strong urge to achieve, Often things that you've been working on for a while come to fruition now, and you usually, get a payoff. It's often a very good time, very lucky time. Jupiter brings luck. So we should look to see Germany doing something ambitious, something to get them recognition and respect. Maybe it could be something financial, having to do with Pluto. But Saturn currently is conjuncting their Neptune-Uranus conjunction, you'll see here in the early degrees of Capricorn, and still has yet to finish that. So they're still in the process, or I should say a phase of restructuring, and they're not quite sure what to do next until after this set of Saturn transits is over. But nonetheless, they're one to watch this week with a Jupiter conjunct Pluto. So that's all for this week. My website's now up and running under the name tomsocalm.com. I leave links in the description. And thank you to my subscribers and supporters who've been donating on a regular monthly basis through Patreon and PayPal. And you'll find donations for them in the lower right-hand corner of the flower image on my channel homepage. And I've been getting more active on Twitter lately, so please follow me at TomJordan364. I post things related to astrology as well as other things of interest that people tend to be responding to pretty good lately, so I'm very encouraged with that. Please contact me, by the way. I am an astrologer, so please contact me if you are interested in a natal or transit reading. I'm available for consultations on a regular monthly basis using astrology as a tool for life coaching. And I am also a Reiki master, studying that even more so these days. And if you're interested in a long-distance Reiki healing or a psychic reading, I do those as well, please contact me at mobilestar7@yahoo.com or my weblog where I post the transcript for these weekly videos. And again, the link is in the description. Well, that's all this week for Weekly Astrology Notes. Once again, thanks for viewing, liking, and sharing my video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Many blessings, and have a great day.